What if I told you there's a house in the middle of nowhere where lights flicker, objects move on their own, and whispers echo through the halls when no one's around? Most people laugh off ghost stories, but the people in this small town don't laugh anymore. They know better. They've seen what's inside that house, and some of them never came back out. There's something about small towns that makes ghost stories feel more real. Maybe it's the isolation, or the way secrets seem to seep into the very foundations of the old buildings. In the case of Blackwood, a town nestled deep in the woods of the Midwest, one house has become infamous. The locals call it the Hollow House, and for good reason. It's not just haunted, it's alive. Tonight, we're diving into the chilling tale of the poltergeist that has terrorized Blackwood for decades. By the end of this story, you might think twice about turning off your lights. The Hollow House sits on the edge of Blackwood, surrounded by thick trees that seem to lean in, as if trying to keep something in. It's a crumbling Victorian with peeling paint and broken windows, but no one has dared to demolish it. You see, the last person who tried, well, we'll get to that. It all started in the 1940s when the Pearson family moved in. They were a young couple with a 6-year-old daughter named Clara. The house was a fixer-upper, but the Pearsons were optimistic. That optimism didn't last long. On their very first night, Clara woke up screaming. She told her parents she saw a shadow man standing in the corner of her room. They chalked it up to an overactive imagination until the scratches appeared on her bedroom wall. Deep gouges, as if made by claws, and they weren't there the day before. The Pearsons' experience was just the beginning. Over the next few months, the activity escalated. Lights flickered, doors slammed shut, and objects flew across rooms with no one near them. Clara's parents began hearing whispers at night, low, guttural voices speaking in a language they didn't understand. When they tried to leave, the car wouldn't start. The family dog refused to enter the house, barking and growling at the front door as if something stood on the other side. Then, one night, Clara disappeared. Her parents searched the house frantically, but she was nowhere to be found. Hours later, they heard her voice coming from the basement. They found her standing in the dark, staring at the wall, whispering, "He's here. He's watching." When they tried to take her upstairs, she screamed like she was being torn away from something. The Pearsons fled the next day, leaving everything behind. The house sat empty for years, but the stories didn't stop. Teenagers dared each other to spend a night inside. Most ran out before midnight, pale and shaking. Those who stayed longer spoke of cold spots, shadowy figures, and the overwhelming feeling that they were being watched. One boy, Mark Harris, didn't make it out. He was 17, a football player, and the kind of kid who thought he was invincible. He bet his friends he could spend the entire night in the Hollow House. They found him the next morning in the living room, curled into a ball, muttering, "It's not just a house, it's a trap." The town's breaking point came in the 1980s when a group of paranormal investigators arrived. They were professionals, equipped with cameras, EVP recorders, and every gadget you can think of. They were confident they'd capture proof of the supernatural. What they captured was far worse. The team set up their equipment and began their investigation. At first, it was the usual stuff: cold spots, strange noises, faint whispers. Then the basement door slammed shut, trapping two of them downstairs. Their cameras caught something horrifying: a shadowy figure with glowing eyes standing at the top of the stairs. The two investigators screamed, and the audio picked up their desperate cries for help. When the door finally opened, they were gone. Only their equipment remained, and the footage cut off with a chilling whisper, "You're next." The remaining team fled, abandoning their van and everything in it. They never spoke publicly about what happened, but one of them, years later, admitted in a private interview that she still wakes up at night hearing that whisper. After the investigators vanished, Blackwood's mayor ordered the house boarded up, but even that didn't stop the activity. Neighbors reported seeing lights in the windows and hearing screams coming from inside. One family who lived nearby claimed they saw a figure watching them from the attic window every night. The hollow house still stands today, its secrets locked behind its rotting walls. It's a reminder of something we'd all rather not think about. Some places are cursed, and some places are better left alone. If you're ready for another bone-chilling story, click on this next video. But be warned, it might keep you up all night.